The Skraby Show starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
Hello and welcome into the Skraby Show. One of 4 Skraby shows this week. I'm Matt Skraby. Thank you for joining me here on 97.3 The Fan. It's July 15th, everybody, which means, as we all know, the Home Run Derby is happening right now. And I will try and update you on the Home Run Derby as soon as I can as it goes through, or as we go along through the Home Run Derby. I, for one, am a fan of the Home Run Derby. And I like the new changes that they've made so far. So we'll see about that as we get to the later rounds. But right now they are in a commercial break, and I guess they're coming back right now. But so far, lots and lots and lots of home runs hit tonight at the Home Run Derby. So it's exciting to see. And I'm not just saying that. Thanks again to everybody who stuck with us during Gwen and Chris, during our dog days of the summer shows. Because, it isn't hard to talk about sports, but when you don't have any sports to talk about, it gets a little rough. And we talked about the Padres earlier in the show, and I said that I felt like they were a better team. Other people said, I think the team is right where they should be. And 50-49, one game over 500 is what it gets you to play 99 games if you're a San Diego Padre. And I think we've all seen it this year. I think we've all felt it this year. All the emotions have been felt. Everything that we think we can see in baseball has also been felt this year for the San Diego Padres. And I don't know, maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on the team, but I didn't think that they were going to be one game over 500 when we hit the All-Star break, especially when they were putting together a huge streak like they were last week and the week before. And then this past week was not good for the Padres at all. They got 2 games swept by the Mariners, and they lost 2 to the Braves, and they won that Saturday game. So they went 1-4 on their final home stand of the season before the All-Star break. And honestly, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. You have to take some of those games. You have to take at least one of those games from the Mariners. And we were saying, like, they needed to be 4-4 over their last 8. Well, they were not 4-4 over their last 8. So I'm not sure where I'm at with this team. And I know that they've had a lot of injury this year. And when I say a lot of injury, they've had a lot of injuries to big-name players, which we also talked about earlier. But, I mean, it's true. When you take away a big-name player, you are going to miss out on a lot. And it's not just as easy as next man up, which that is the mentality within the clubhouse. And I totally understand that mentality of next man up. I do, because we have it here in the radio station. If I get sick or something, it's next man up. So that would be Frank, or that would be Adam, or that would be Nick DiNucci. We have that kind of process in society of next man up, but the next man up isn't always as good as the first man. So with Fernando Tatis Jr. being on the IL, and I'm learning today that it's being reported now that he's going to be on the IL until August. I don't know where I was. I just kept thinking that there was going to be some reports throughout this week. You have him. You also have Joe Musgrove, as we don't really know much about his status. Yu Darvish is obviously not with the team right now, and we have no idea of his status and when he's going to be back with the team. But there has to be a strong start out of the break. And I said this coming into the year. One of the things I said was they have to have a quick start. They cannot do what they did the previous year, 2023, and they cannot start slow like they have been. But they did start slow this year. And they made it all the way back to one game over 500. I think we would take that at this point. But it just seems like there's been so much this year that has not gone right for the Padres. And whether or not that's self-induced or whether or not that's just the baseball deities coming down on the Padres, I don't know. But it just seems like whenever they got ahead this year, something else would happen where they would face some injury. And I know all players face injury. All teams face injury. It's something that I think they maybe didn't address. I can't say they didn't address it enough with the depth, because they did. they just did not have they did not expect to have as many players as they have right now in the IL. I also think they didn't have or expect to have as many players on the All-Star roster as they do, 5 players. And we're going to hear from some of those players throughout the show tonight, and let's celebrate them a little bit instead of me dwelling on the Padres not being more than one game over 500. But we're going to hear from Jurickson Profar a little bit later. We're also going to hear from all of the Padres All-Stars. Jurickson Profar was on MLB Network earlier. I want to play that quick exchange for you because, as Chris said, this is a big deal. He is batting 9th in the All-Star game. I am not upset about batting 9th in the All-Star game, but this is a huge deal for Jurickson Profar, and this is years and years and years and years and years of work coming together for him to be a starter in the All-Star game. So we need to keep thinking of Jurickson Profar as the MVP candidate that he has been for us here in San Diego over the past, 3 months or whenever the season started. When did the season start? April? March? It started actually middle of March when they were in Korea. So it's been March, April, June, or May? I know my months, everybody. June, July. It's been 4 months. 4 months. So it's been our everyday life for the past little bit. And so that's why we're struggling today to talk about anything else, because we have the Padres. We love the Padres. All right, let's do this.
It's time to get caught up on the latest with the news of the day.
Well, the news of the day is going to start like this. The MLB draft has been ongoing. I always pull down the wrong pot. There we go. It's a little bit quieter. The MLB draft has always been, one of those things that we've overlooked. But recently, I really do think that the draft has become bigger and bigger, and we're starting to learn more and more of the names of the players that are going to be in the draft. And so I even had someone text me over the weekend about the draft. We talked about it last week that who was going to take the Basmanian Devil out of Oregon State, second baseman, Travis Bazana. And he was indeed taken by the Guardians first overall. So that question was answered. And now that I had my sheet all ready to go, I cannot find the full draft. This is kind of embarrassing. I had this ready. I promise you. I got this ready during the last interview. And we're going to have to see. Jeez, man. This is one of those days. I got to say. One of those days for me. Because I cannot do anything right. It's been a tough, trying day, but I'm just going to have to go through this in the break again. This is crazy. I cannot believe I deleted my page. All right, let's go back to the news of the day, which will be the Home Run Derby as well. This is kind of a thrown-together segment because me deleting my page has ruined everything about this segment. But the Home Run Derby is happening right now, as we all know. The national anthem to start the Home Run Derby, not very good. Not very good at all. And I wonder if anybody really knows whether or not the PA in Texas Rangers Stadium is broken or not. Because it seems like Rob Manfred had a issue with it a few years ago when he was giving Corey Seager the World Series MVP. And tonight the opening national anthem singer also had issues. All right, so here's the Home Run Derby so far, and I am enjoying this Home Run Derby. I saw Anthony say it on the chat. I am enjoying it. Alec Boehm, Phillies. He hit 21 home runs. His longest home run was 445 feet. They're still in the first round, by the way. Bobby Witt Jr. hit 20 home runs. His longest home run, 442 feet. Adolis Garcia hit 18 home runs. His longest was 435 feet. And then Teoscar Hernandez ended up with 19 home runs, and his longest home run was 466 feet. Right now, Pete Alonso is up. He has 11 home runs, and he is hitting the bonus balls right now, so we'll see what happens with him. But he's a mainstay in the Home Run Derby, and say what you want to say about Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is doing good things by doing this each and every year and doing it for the fans. Really doing it for the fans. I want to bring up this last thing real quick about the news of the day. And it's about yesterday when they were trying to get the Copa America final was in Miami where the Dolphins play. But apparently there's a lot of videos going around. I've seen all the videos, but a lot of the videos are showing this crazy crowd of people who have just rushed in to the stadium. And I gotta say, why can't we just be human beings, people? I guess these people did not have tickets, and so some people were trying to keep them from getting in. But there were so many people at the front gate, and I'm looking at this video right now, and there's police officers trying to hold the gate closed. There's police officers and security trying to not let people through. But I don't know what has happened to our, and this maybe not changed, but I don't know what's happened to our society. But our society has lost its mind. And right now I'm watching all of these people fall over the barrier in the fence and just run into the stadium. There's children there, people falling on other people. There is even a dog there. There's people screaming and crying about how they've been hurt. Come on, people. I don't understand this whatsoever. I don't understand why people like they do sometimes. You don't have a ticket. Why are you trying to get in the stadium? Why are you trying to hurt kids? Why are you trying to trample dogs? I don't get it. Welsh Fryer says stuff like that happens in UK football games all the time. I know Welsh, which I am not actually looking forward to the World Cup here in 2 years if they can't even control the Copa America crowd. And now Welsh knows. Prolific says World Cup will never be hosted by USA because of this. Well, I think they're hosting it in a couple years, actually, in 2 years or something like that. But this is something that we don't see here in America too much, but I don't put it past my fellow Americans. I sound like a president now. What am I talking about? But yeah, Welsh Fryer's right. This stuff happens all around the world. It just doesn't happen here, and I just am not a fan of it. Not a fan of seeing people trample other people just because they want to go see a sporting event. All right, yeah, I am lame. Call me lame, but yeah, I'm not. Actually, in my mind, lame, because I saw this morning and I was like, I took my nieces to the Padres game yesterday, and everything was fine with them. Nothing happened, but I was thinking this morning when I saw this video, like, what if this happened when I was at the Padres game with my nieces? What would I do? Because they're both under the age of 10, and if there was some sort of stampede, I don't have any idea what I would have done. I guess I would have tried to save them, obviously, but I have no idea what you do in some sort of stampede. If anybody has any ideas on what you're supposed to do during these things, please let me know, because I need to know. I need to figure out how to get through a stampede, because at some point, I feel like I'm going to be in a place where that's going to happen. And there was one time when I was at a golf tournament, and I was trying to find Tiger Woods, and the group of Tiger Woods people that were following us around was so big that whenever he used to come towards the fairway or the rough or whatever and hit his ball, people would just throw so much weight into the people on the front rows, and it was hurting some people. People started going down. It's scary. It is really scary. Jacob says high ground. That's what I'm going to go look for. High ground whenever this happens. All right. I'm off my pulpit now. And when we get back, I think we need to go over some of these Padres All-Stars. I think we need to hear from some of these Padres All-Stars. I'm going to also get my draft sheet back up, and we're going to talk a little bit about the draft as well. But let's be happy in the next segment. I know I'm kind of driving the happy train here, so I'm going to get back on track. We're going to talk about Jurickson Profar in the All-Star game, Jackson Merrill, all of the rest, all of the above when we get back on the Skraby Show.
Fresher
All right, I'm much happier. Matt Skraby back with you here on 97.3 The Fan, The Skraby Show. I have reset in the break. I am ready to be happy the rest of the show. Thanks for dealing with the unhappy Matt Skraby in the first segment. I was going to start by doing a roll call, which we have Welsh Fryer here, Dan here, Prolific here, Kathy's here, Jacob's here, and McKee's here. EC Money is here. And if you want to watch us, please, I know I'm forgetting people. Katrina is here, but I'm going to tell you what Katrina said in just a second. If you're wondering where to watch us, you can do it on YouTube. Just go to 97.3 The Fan. Or, I'm sorry, go to YouTube and search 97.3 The Fan. Now, we just found out something a little weird the other day, and that would be that X now is requiring you to pay to broadcast live on their platform. So we cannot broadcast live on X right now until we figure that one out. I do pay already for that. The station does not. But the reason I pay is not because I think I'm famous or anything like that. It's because it's the only way you get your dual authentication from X. You know, where you have to sign in and then you get a text message or something or an email or something like that with a code. That's the only way you can get that on X, and I prefer the dual authentication. Now, do I think someone's going to hack my social media and I'm going to be a target? No, not really. But do I think that there is someone out there who would love to put up random messages from my account? Yeah, I do. So that's why I have the dual authentication. But Katrina comes to the chat, and Katrina's a hardcore listener. She said, trying to watch the Home Run Derby, it's so boring. I don't think the Home Run Derby is boring. And McKee says, watching the fans catch the home runs is pretty entertaining. No one dropping any of those. Well, it is pretty entertaining. I do want to, if there is ever a Home Run Derby here in San Diego again, I do want to be the guy who's able to catch balls in the outfield. I got to get a spot on the outfield for me to catch a baseball or two, because I've always wanted to try catching like a ball in a major league park before. I guess everybody's always wanted to try catching a ball in the Major League Park before, but that would be awesome to be in the outfield of Petco Park as these famous baseball players are just crushing home runs towards you. I've actually tried to set this up before, too, where I can go in the outfield, and I wasn't even talking about having a player hit a ball in batting practice or anything. I was talking about just, using one of those machines that shoots the ball up in the air so that you can catch it as a fly ball. I think that would be fun. Tony doesn't think I have any chance of catching it. And Chris has already seen me try to catch a pop fly before, and it's not good. So I would have to practice a lot before I do that. I would have to practice a lot before I do that, because Tony really thinks I'm going to take one off the face or I'm just not going to catch him at all, which he has the experience to tell me whether or not that's going to happen. Trust me, I'm not doubting him. I just want to, I'm one of those people who, even if you tell me it can't be done, I'm going to try anyway. And if I fail horribly, I fail horribly. But right now, I'm looking at these outfielders thinking, man, I'm seeing them catch the ball. I've got this. I have got this. But I still haven't been able to do it yet, though. If anybody thinks I could do it, please let me know. I'll keep trying to do that. All right, let's go into our Padres news, which would be the first-round draft pick. I got my sheets back up. We're ready to go. But the first-round draft pick for the San Diego Padres would have been has been announced as Cash Mayfield out of Elk City High School in Oklahoma. According to the Oklahoman, now here's some great numbers, and I can't believe he had these numbers. He had a .16 ERA, 115 strikeouts in 44 innings this past season. Now, this is not a deep dive on Cash Mayfield, but here's what MLB.com says about him. Gatorade's 2023 Oklahoma High School Player of the Year as a junior. He took the summer off following a heavy workload en route to the Oklahoma 4A state semifinals. Scouts had him on their radar, but weren't expecting him to break out and became a potential first-rounder this spring. He started the Super 60 Pro Showcase in February, touched 96 in his first game, and never let up while repeating as the state's Gatorade winner. So he, I guess, has he's dealing now at 92 to 95 miles an hour and reaching 97 And it says that he already possesses an advanced changeup that parks in the low 80s and drops to the plate, making his heater even more effective. He has a slurvy upper 70s breaking ball, stands out more for his ability to locate it than its power or shape. So, do I think that I'm going to know whether or not this guy's going to be a success here coming up for the Padres? I have no idea. But I do like those numbers. I saw this on Ben Higgins' Twitter this morning. I think he tweeted out just like, hey, the Padres have selected this person here as high school stats. And someone replied to Ben, so what? Those are just high school stats. Yeah, they're just high school stats. And Ben wasn't saying that he was going to be a Cy Young Award winner right off the gate in his major league career. But those are still very good stats. Again, yes, I know they are high school stats, but .16 ERA, 115 strikeouts in 44 innings this past season in high school is very good. And you got to think that in Oklahoma, it's a big baseball state. There's tons of good prospects in Oklahoma and the Texas area. You got to think that he's been playing against teams that are pretty good, against players that are being drafted themselves. So I'm not saying that his high school ads are a complete ads. What am I talking about? His high school home runs are a complete wash, but I'm saying that high school home runs, man, I am all over the place today. I'm watching the home run derby. I'm watching TV's commercials at the same time. And then I realized I was talking about him pitching. His high school ERA and his high school strikeouts is where I'm at. Although impressive, it doesn't really tell you anything until he gets into the big leagues, because there's many guys that come into the big leagues and just are not anywhere of a shell near what they used to be, or what they were when they were in high school, or what they were when they were in college. So Cash Mayfield is the first-round draft pick for the Padres. He's 19. I will say that he's expected to join Dylan Lesko and Robbie Snelling as the top pitching prospects in the system. So a lot of people like this pick. I've seen nothing but good things about this pick, so we'll have to see. But if the experts like it, then I'm going to go with the experts. I really will. Now on the other side, on round 3, and these are players that we've never heard of before. And these are players that I don't know that we're going to hear from again until they're ready to go for, high AAA or whatever. Round 3, shortstop Cobb Hightower, East Rowan High School in North Carolina. I think if you just look, these are quotes. I think if you just look at the track record, and these type of guys fit our profile. Round 4, right-handed pitcher Tyson Neighbors, Kansas State. He's quotes, he's a potential closer. He's one of my favorite guys that wasn't going in the first 50 picks or so. It's just elite swing and miss stuff when he's on. Round 4C, outfielder Kavaris Tears, University of Tennessee. Now, he was a guy who obviously just was with the Tennessee Volunteers as they were making their run. Jim Callis, we've had him on before, a good prospect guy, tremendous athlete. You've got a potential 2020 guy with him plus arm strength. Now, I saw this on the chat earlier today, but round 4C, number 135 overall, Clark Candiotti, University of Arizona. Now, this is a name that should be familiar, and knuckleballer Tom Candiotti is his father. He spent parts of 16 seasons, but now his son is drafted by the Padres. Jonathan Mayo says, the only sad thing about Clark Candiotti is that he doesn't throw a knuckleball. How do you not throw a knuckleball? If your dad is known for one of the best knuckleballs ever, how do you not throw a knuckleball? Come on. Round 5, Cale Fountain. I love these names. Some of these names are just fantastic. Mayo says, some guys like the bat. Other guys wonder about it, but everybody likes the power. And then I could keep going on and on and on. But let's see. Round 7, Kai Roberts. Round 8, Nick Wisman. Round 9, Zach Evans. Round 10, out of the University of San Diego, there's one, Jack Costello. Mayo says Costello actually probably has more of a power over hit profile when all is said and done with some athleticism. Maybe an outfield corner will be a good fit. So there you go with all of the draft stuff. I personally kind of get, yeah, Kathy says, we drafted some epic baseball names alone. Yes, we did. I personally don't envy the job that baseball scouts have to do because there's so many different baseball prospects out there. There's so many different guys that can play at the major league or at least rate at the major league level. But to find those guys that are going to contribute to your team are few and far between, and I don't envy that about the scouts in Major League Baseball. It's tough. Your whole job sometimes it hangs on who you draft and what they do after you draft them. So Jackson Merrill was drafted by the Padres. That was a pretty good pick, and now he's in the All-Star game. Speaking of Jackson Merrill, let's see here. I'm gonna get reset. I've been trying not to watch the home run derby after my flub there, so I'm gonna get reset on the home run derby. Get everyone up to date on what's happening. Then I promise we're going to hear from Jerks and Profar. We're going to hear from Jackson Merrill. We're going to hear from all of the All-Stars here in the next segment. You're listening to The Skraby Show on 97.3 The Fan. here in the Skraby Show, 97.3 The Fan. Thank you to everyone who's joined the station all day long on a All-Star Week. I guess, what do you call this today? The kickoff of the All-Star Week. All-Star Week is only like 2 days, so I guess I should say the kickoff to the 2 days of the All-Star Week. Gunnar Henderson right now is up at the Home Run Derby, and Gunnar Henderson right now is not doing too well. Only 4 home runs so far. But I appreciate anyone who goes into the Home Run Derby. I definitely do, because of how many others have decided not to be a part of the Home Run Derby. Right now, here are the 4 players that are going to be into round 2, and that will be Alec Boehm, Bobby Witt Jr., Jose Ramirez, who had a late push, and if Gunnar Henderson can hit more than, I think it's, let's see, he needs to hit at least 20 to be going to the next round, because that's what Teoscar Hernandez has. So we'll update you again before the end of the show on the Home Run Derby, but it has been a lot more fun than I think most people would have thought, because this new format of them all going up singularly and not having to face anyone in the first round, it has definitely created some excitement. So they got what they wanted, because Jose Ramirez, Gunnar Henderson right now has the driver's seat. He knows what he had to put up in order to continue on. Alec Boehm did not know what he had to put up when he started. He was the first guy out, and he hit 21 home runs, so he kind of had to be swinging early and often. And then Bobby Witt Jr. was next, all the way down to Gunnar Henderson. Marcell Ozuna ended up with 16 home runs for the Home Run Derby. Now, I would like to bring something to the show real quick that is one of those injuries, and then I promise you we're going to get to Jerks and Profile. I have not forgotten, but it's one of those injuries that you really don't want to be known for. And Dane Myers, he was ejected. He plays for the Florida Marlins. He was ejected over the weekend in their series against the Reds, and he was ejected for arguing balls and strikes, but he was a little bit angry, and something happened when he left the field.
Post game after the ejection, obviously wasn't too happy with the call and how things went down. Walking into the clubhouse, just took a swipe at the door with my foot, and didn't think I kicked it that hard, but ended up fracturing my foot.
What is the plan moving forward as far as trying to get back to being healthy?
Just rest right now. Got a little bit of good news and no displacement, so no surgery as of now, but I'll see the foot specialist tomorrow and see what else they got to say.
The foot specialist. That's one thing is I'm jealous about professional athletes, is that if you need a doctor, you can find one in 5 seconds. It's not that hard to get a doctor's appointment. I mean, my shoulder surgery, I was in line for a long time. Finally got it. But athletes are just in and out just like that. But Dane Myers, don't be kicking things when you come into the clubhouse, everyone. I think this is a good lesson for me, at least, because I am somewhat of I'm not an angry person, but I guess I have like little temper tantrums, I'll just call them, where I do think it would be really fun to kick a door or kick a car or whatever it is, wherever I'm angry. And you know what? I did that one time, and I have never done it again, because it really, really hurts. And Dane Myers broke his foot. But come on, Dane. You don't want to be known as the guy who broke your foot kicking a door or something in the clubhouse. You want to be known as the guy who's playing for the Marlins, not the guy who is out for the rest of at least a couple weeks with his broken foot. So I wanted to bring that to you all here real quick. Let's go. Gunnar Henderson is done now. I guess I've become kind of like an unofficial play-by-play person for this. Gunnar Henderson is done. It looks like only 11 home runs. So Teoscar Hernandez is moving on. The 4 that are moving on: Alec Boehm, Bobby Witt Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, and Jose Ramirez are going to be moving on to the next round. So we'll get you caught up with that in just a second. However, I wanted to get to Jerks and Profile. I've been talking about this all hour long, but I wanted to have everyone hear this from Jerks and Profile, because it is one of the most surprising stories of the year that Jurickson Profar made the All-Star team. Not only made the All-Star team, but is starting the All-Star game. And this is something that I think we all are really, I don't even think, I know that we're all very excited for Jurickson Profar getting this sort of treatment, because he has been a guy who's picked San Diego. He wants to be here in San Diego. He said it feels like home, like it does in Curacao. But Jurickson Profar was interviewed by Chris Young, the former Diamondback, on MLB Network. Here's what he had to say about all of the All-Star Game festivities.
Congratulations, man. So many ups and downs in your career. What does this mean to you to be to the point to where you're starting in the All-Star game?
Oh, a lot. You know, it means, man, it means the world. You know, always, you know, I fell in love with baseball at 6 years old, you know, and, you know, in Curacao, I never even thought about being a major league player. You know, it was just playing baseball for the love of the game. And you know, when I signed at 16, you know, reached the major leagues early, you know, and then a lot of injuries, you know, but one thing, I just kept working every day, and this is rewarding, you know.
When I go back to the depth chart from February or March of the San Diego Padres, I remember the message to everybody was like, who's going to play in the outfield for the Padres outside of Tatis? And now, sitting here at the All-Star game, not too much later, we have Profar and Jackson Merrill in the outfield. What was the message to you when you showed up at spring training, and what was the opportunity that you saw there?
There wasn't really a message. But obviously, you know, by their contract, they're going to get someone to play in the outfield. But you know, I came in with a mission. You know, I just came in feeling good. I played in the Caribbean Series. I played, you know, winter ball. So I felt like, you know, I'm ready to take this job. You know, and I just kept being consistent. One thing I wasn't during my whole career, but you know, this year I really mentally, you know, put it together.
I feel like you've proved all the doubters wrong, man, and I'm so happy to see the amount of success that you've been able to have, and for the All-Star game to be here in Texas, I'm assuming that holds a special place in your heart for multiple reasons.
Yes, this is my second home. This is where they give me an opportunity to become a professional baseball player, and I play for a lot of years here. I have, you know, family here. My son and daughter was born here, you know, so this is a very, very special place in my heart.
There you go, Jurickson Profar with Chris Young on MLB Network, and you can just hear it. You can hear the smile. You can see how much this means to him. I like how he said he came in with a mission this year, and he has definitely accomplished his mission. I mean, going through the rest of the season would be a mission accomplished, but sometimes I think we need to stop and realize that Jurickson Profar has had one incredible season so far for the San Diego Padres. And it's been, I mean, I don't really know where this team's at with Jurickson Profar without him, I should say, without Jurickson Profar. And if you look at it and you really break it down, you could say that AJ Preller is lucky by having Jackson Merrill and by having Jurickson Profar be as good as they've been. I mean, Jackson Merrill, I don't want to be too dramatic here, but I think Jackson Merrill may have saved or extended the job of AJ Preller just a little bit, because there was it seemed like, and I really don't know what the internal conversation was, but it seems like there was no other plan for the outfield. Maybe they go get a guy, but it didn't seem like they had, outside of Jackson Merrill, they had anyone else that is really going to play center field. Yeah, you have a Zokar, but Zokar's down with the minor league team right now. Zokar wasn't going to be your everyday center fielder, but Jurickson Profar, Jackson Merrill, two guys that the Padres didn't know were going to be so great, but they have been great. And one of the reasons that they're one game over 500. If these guys aren't on the team, I really don't know what type of record this team has right now if they're not there. I saw a funny story on the chat, and I'm going to go back to that real quick. Katie is in the chat. If you want to join us, YouTube, search 97.3. We're talking about the Marlins player who broke his foot. Katie said, I broke my little toe 13 years ago today. Wow, how did you know that? I was angry about something and was walking quickly around my bed and stubbed my toe. I thought it was just bruised until I saw it in the light. It was bent at 90 degrees away from my foot. And so she said it was pretty bad. My husband offered to pop it back into place, and I said, absolutely not. And off we went to the ER. Yeah, the ER. Did you go to the ER without your toe being back in place? I actually, in high school football, I was teammates with the Vikings head coach, Kevin O'Connell. I actually dislocated my pinky finger one time. We were doing this stupid fumble drill. And the fumble drill, it wasn't stupid, I get it. The fumble drill was fall on the fumble because the coach would throw it down and you never know which way a football bounces. And so that was the drill. Someone get on the fumble. And if you get on the fumble, you're done having to do the drill. And so, of course, I did it, I think, 3 times. Third time, though, got the fumble, was super excited with myself, was going over to stand on the side where everybody else was, and I looked at my finger. I felt my finger. It was like, man, my pinky really hurts right now. I don't know what I did to it, but it really hurts right now. And I looked at it, and it was too at a 90-degree angle. So I walked over to the trainer, and he said, "Hey, there's already a line of people. Get in line." So I got in line, showed him my finger. He goes, "Why did you wait in line? You should have came right up to me." I was like, "Wait, you told me to wait in line." But anyway, so to this day, sometimes, hasn't happened in a while, sometimes my finger will pop out of place and I have to put it back into place. Sometimes. Like I said, it hasn't happened in a long time, but I definitely know that feeling. And stubbing your toe is maybe one of the most... I get kind of angry when I stub my toe. I don't know how many other people out there get angry when they hurt themselves, but I definitely get really angry when I stub my toe. And I stubbed my toe maybe like a week ago at night. I kicked the door heading into the restroom, and it split my toenail. It hurt really bad. I think there's nothing worse than stubbing your toe, honestly. It hurts really bad. I mean, yes, there are other things worse than stubbing your toe, but in the minor injury world, I don't know that there's much worse than stubbing your toe. All right, the semifinals are underway for the Home Run Derby. We have Jose Ramirez against Bobby Witt Jr. and then Alec Boehm against Teoscar Hernandez. Bobby Witt Jr. is up first. He has 6 home runs with 20 pitches left. So this, I don't know that we're going to be able to finish the Home Run Derby together, but we will keep an eye on it until I am done with the Skraby Show for today. Now, the Padres posted something on their Twitter, if you just go to @Padres, and they went around asking their All-Stars hard-hitting questions, and there's all of the All-Stars in this, and there is some Spanish speaking in this, and the reason I left it in, I was talking to a few people over the weekend, and they said they really appreciate when they can hear the Spanish in there as well as the English, because it I guess it makes them feel better. Also, it's kind of cool because then you get it from the guys in their own words instead of through a translator. So here's the Padres social media team going around asking questions of the Padres in the All-Star game. And here's the first one. Jackson Merrill, how does it feel to be at the All-Star game?
Surreal, but fun to be here with my boys. Very fun.
Emocionado y agradecido.
Feel amazing because we work hard for this, and then I want to give this to my family because they are here, and then this is amazing. I'm coming here to enjoy this.
Very, very, very excited. All the work that I always put in, and I'm here now. And Kyrie, he's very excited. I mean, he's looking at all these stars. He's taking pictures, and hopefully he will be one day.
I brought my girlfriend, my family, my
The question was, who did you bring with you?
cousin, and then Wyatt Hoffman. Shout out Trevor, Hall of Famer, but Wyatt's the real Hoffy.
Mi familia.
I bring my whole family, mom, dad, sister, daughter's wife, and they are here.
Everybody.
Who are you excited to see?
everybody that I get to meet, and take it in. It's a surreal experience. So just everybody I meet.
Todos los jugadores.
A lot of players. Obviously, Otani, Soto, those guys.
I'm excited to see everyone. Everyone deserves to be here, and Kyrie, he was excited to see Ellie De La Cruz and Shohei Ohtani.
Being a Baltimore guy from
Who's going to win the home run derby?
Baltimore, I'm going Gunner. I think Gunner's going to win it.
Osuna.
Wow, that's a good question. Peter, I think. Peter Alonso.
Peter.
I think it's going to be between 3 people: Pete Alonso, Vlad Guerrero, and Marcelo Zuna.
And there you go. So thank you to the Padres social media team for putting that together. They have a ton of good stuff on their X. At least I'm looking at their X right now. They have so much stuff on their X. So make sure you head over there and you look at all of their All-Star celebration at Padres on X. But I think it's funny. I guess Jurickson Profar was so... I guess he wasn't really paying attention to who was in the home run derby, but that's okay because he said Vlad Guerrero Jr. He's not a part of the home run derby. He was last year. He won it last year, so I guess that's why Jurickson thought he was going to be in it. But a lot of people picked Pete Alonso to win the home run derby. Pete Alonso already eliminated from the home run derby, or Peter Alonso, as Luis Ariz would say. That was hilarious. I love it. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but Peter Alonso. Everybody just always calls him Pete. It's kind of like Jake. Everybody just always calls him Jake, even though his real name is Jacob Cronenworth. And the guys in the clubhouse call him Jacob. I don't know how we got to Jake. I think it just happened, and he seems to be okay with it. But sometimes I'm like, man, where in the world did we get these names? I don't know. Dan says this is the Fab Five, and that is true. Jacob can relate. You probably are right, Jacob. I think a lot of people may just shorten your name to Jake. Katie says I call him Jacob now because that is what Manny calls him. No one ever calls me Matthew. No one ever lengthens the name. They only shorten the name. So with Matthew, when people call me Matthew, I get a little weirded out because I've never really gone by Matthew. But there you go. Peter Alonso. I love Luis Ariz. He's awesome.
What's annoying Skraby today? Let's find out. It's time for the Daily Gripe.
Katie says, people try calling me Kate because she's technically a Catherine, so Katie. I get it. That is annoying, though. Once you tell people your name, they should just, kind of be into your name. Like, say your name like you want it to be said. All right, the Daily Gripe today is going to be Chris. And all those naysayers out there that do not like the home run derby. Why can't you just let us home run derbyers have our day? We get it once a year. I love the home run derby. I love it. And all day, Chris was just raining on my parade. Not a fan of Chris raining on my parade. So all you home run derbyers that are with me, let's keep watching. And all you home run derbyers that want to skip it, skip it. And don't rain on our parade. All right, 3 more Skraby shows after this. Back with you tomorrow. Gwen and Chris starting at 2 p.m. Ben Woods starting at 6 a.m. Annie and Elston starting at 10 a.m. Thanks to everybody for sticking with me here on 97.3 The Fan.
Need to be updated on what's the latest in the world of sports during your lunch hour? We have a pulse on all the trending stories in the world of sports, so you never miss out on what's going on. Annie and Elston, weekdays from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Major League Baseball is at the break. I'm Kate Constable here to help you beat the